topic on which we are going to talk today is deferred, white, and hard cataracts tips to manage safely. I have no financial interest in anything that I'm going to present here. Fecal emulsification in a hard nucleus is always challenging, even for the highly skilled surgeons, because of the high incidence of complications, in spite of modern tools and techniques. But it is extremely gratifying when the results are good. But we need to have good armamentation and planning. Planning starts from pre-operative level, where we need to look into the endothelium and evaluate it by slit lamp, sometimes by specular if possible, the anterior chamber depth and hardness of the nucleus, to plan what type of a procedure we are going to do, what type of phaco-parameters we require, what type of surgery we're going to do. The posterior segment also has to be looked in, because in most of these cases, it is not seen by indirect ophthalmoscopy, and thus a B-scan ultrasonography might help. Anesthesia can be local or topical, but topical may be a little difficult as the time is more in the surgeries. White cataract of this type is usually started with a staining of the anterior capsule with trypan blue. OVD is injected more because of the upthrust that is there in the anterior capsule, and this is done to keep the anterior capsule flat on the iris plane, or there might be a runaway rhexis where we have to go in, put in more OVD. If possible, we can suck a bit of the fluid or the flocculent lens matter to reduce the upthrust and go on. We need to do a bigger rhexis and a hard cataract, but better start small to avoid this runaway and slowly enlarge it by moving it around like a ribbon, or at the cutting it at the margin of the rhexis. The nucleus is bulkier, we need a bigger rhexis, and when we have something like this with the fluid over the hard capsule, we need to suck that fluid out and then go for the rhexis. Here in between, we can suck and put in more OVD, keep the capsule down. Cutting at the rhexis enlarges the rhexis. The wound size and position always matters, because a tight wound or a leaky wound might give difficulty during surgery. So the position and new blades always matter. The hydrodissection with a bit of pressure on the posterior lip helps us to reduce extra amount of fluid which are injected. We usually inject small bouts of fluid below the anterior capsule. Do not load the anterior chamber with too much of fluid to prevent turbulence in these cases. A bit of nudge on the nucleus to remove the flocculent lens matter might give us place in a good surgery. Nuclear management, the most important part, stop chop, is one of the most universally accepted novel techniques, where a trench is made deeper in the center, thinner at the periphery. The nucleus is cracked at the margin of the trench, at the center of the trench, and smaller bits are made and eaten up. My next speaker will go for this. I will not describe the details of this. Direct chop is said to create the least amount of pressure on the zonules in a hard cataract. The central part is shaved off slightly, and then holding the phaco in phaco position 1, in high vacuum, the probe is embedded, tip is embedded deeply into the nuclear matter, and with a blunt instrument, I'm doing a horizontal chop here, is embedded deeply into the nuclear matter and pulled towards the phaco tip to break it in and crack it. Now, after the first crack, the nuclear goes usually into 2 pieces. It is rotated, and each piece is furthermore cracked in a similar way by embedding the phaco tip deep into the nuclear matter and pulling the chopper towards the phaco tip after embedding. It can be done vertically as well, where the chop is usually at the center. Now, these nucleus are usually bulky, and we get very little space to work in the capsule. So it would be good if we can proceeding for further cracking of the nucleus or making smaller bits. So here, as you can see, a small pie has been made, and it is slowly removed to create more space. And now it is easier to rotate the nucleus in the bag and deal with it. But when it is harder at the center and it's very thick, we need to do more amount of shaving in the center so that we can get some space and embed the tip of the phaco probe deeply in the nuclear matter. So here a bit of extra shaving is done in the center. These central parts may be as thick as 4 millimeters sometimes. So once that is done, then again the same procedure, holding phaco position 1, a chop is being done, and this is a horizontal chop, as I told you, but here we do not get what we desire. It does not extend to the center. So this is a central leathery cataract. We go on for the second chop, again pulling the nuclear matter, pulling with the blunt instrument towards the tip of the phaco probe, but it does not crack. So either we crack it manually with 2 Sinskey hooks, or the central part is separately chopped by a vertical chop, and the central leathery part is dealt with. Once the pieces are there, rest of the nuclear management is easier. This is an old video with the Brunison cataract. This is one method, divide and conquer, which has been tested over time and is practiced till now. Here again, 2 trenches are made in a crisscross fashion. The central part is, of course, deeper compared to the periphery. And this is done in sculpt, where we use a bit of more phaco power. And with the help of the OVD, we coat the endothelium before that. Otherwise, there's a lot of damage to the endothelium in these cases. So we have to use more dispersive OVD for this. After cracking of the nucleus into 4 pieces along the trench, life becomes easier. In absence of epinuclear quotient, we have to use more of the second instrument and OVD to protect the parts of the eye. Especially the posterior capsule is pushed back with the OVD. Second instrument is used to rotate the nucleus more rather than fishing in the anterior chamber with the probe. Sometimes it is used to lift away the center of the nucleus from the posterior capsule and aid the phaco process. So what are the perils we face? The endothelial damage, a runaway rhexis, weak zonules which may give away, insufficient hydrodissection which may not rotate our nucleus, fluid trapping, and posterior capsular rupture. These will be dealt subsequently with the other co-speakers with me. And the pearls are effective planning and slit lamp evaluation, preoperative investigation. Dispersive OVD goes a long way in maintaining good anterior chamber, optimum big rhexis, good nuclear rotation by hydrodissection, friendly machines which give us a lot of comfort, good choppers and blade, and finally talking with our VR friend to be prepared for complications. This way, I think we can easily deal with white and hard cataracts. Thank you very much for patient